Immediately goes into the pitch, takes the pace off. Mavuta wants the second. He's going to take on Dockrell and get there. Excellent running. Every run could count here. Can they defend 140, 145, Tino?
Well, Zimbabwe have done a good job of defending low totals before in T20 internationals. Expect to see him getting a lot more opportunity. Munyonga getting an opportunity now because you're missing Raza, you're missing Williams, you're missing Irvin. Now, I'm not so sure how smart a stroke that is.
The guideline, he gets that bit of leeway with the batter coming outside his off stump. Premeditated from Mavuta. Looks like maybe for Tendai Chitara, he's going to have to do something special to get back in. As Innocent Kaia also left out. No Nicholas Welsh either. He should get a chance, you'd think, again in the future. He made a 50 in the Pro 50 final too. Is it a case that there's no one maybe putting their hand up as a legacy player like an Irvine, a Williams, a Raza, a Muzarabani? No one's quite at that level yet at the domestic end of things for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it could be. Crunched away by Luke Jongwe, and that will go into the extra cover boundary for 4.
We just had the most surreal moment for the second time of the innings. Harry Tector has completely lost this at deep extra cover. He thought it was coming to him as a catch. He might not be able to see it, but it's ended up going to conventional cover. Tector is out at deep extra, and he right now has his hands above his head looking for the catch, searching for the catch, but it races to the rope. Critical late runs these. Surely going to want a second. They'll take on Balbirnie and get home comfortably. A little flourish from Jongwe.
He's got the capability to do this, Luke Jongwe. Fortunately, a little too often he comes in and there's 10, 12 balls left in the innings. Doesn't allow him just to build, get the pace of the wicket, especially on a wicket that is quite difficult to bat on, I think, today. Ball's not coming on, keeping a little bit low.
I have to say, Ireland's use of the short ball throughout all 3 games has been outstanding. It's taken a lot of wickets and it's provided a lot of crucial dots at the death. Adair, Young, Little and McCarthy have all bowled with a hostility and certainly a bit more of a purpose than at points over the last 3 or 4 years. I think very much a sign of the confidence that they've been instilled with by Paul Stirling's now permanent captaincy. They'll be pleased with their efforts with the ball. Just one more delivery to get through. And this one is straight to Tector. Probably won't be able to get the second. A very good arm. And Tucker gloves it cleanly, so it's an even 140 that Zimbabwe will have to be satisfied with. It's 12 under the average first innings total here over the last 3 years. The big question, Tino Moeo, will it be enough?
140. If they bowl well, if they take their chances, maybe get a couple of early wickets, it might just be. I thought 150 would be par here. And again, I go back to how the surface is played. He looks quite happy with what his charges have done in the first half of this game. Paul Stirling, who won the toss and elected to bowl. Got rid of Madande and got rid of the stand-in captain today, Ryan Burl, at just the right time, I think, Ireland. Otherwise, there may have been an extra 10 or so runs on that total.
Well, I think Paul Stirling has a little Irish jig in his step, I have to say, the way in which he just trotted off towards the changing rooms. He feels that if himself and Andy Balbirnie start well, they should be able to get to this total of 141. No doubt Berlin Madande, the pick of the batters. Good stuff too from Brian Bennett, I felt, and 2 wickets apiece for Josh Little. Gareth Delaney, who was used sparingly, surprisingly, given he took 2 for 8, and Craig Young 2. Good series for him.
Yeah, Kamuno Kamwe yesterday was devastating. Those 39 runs came in very quick time, but it wasn't to be today. Beautiful delivery from Josh Little, just pitching on leg stump, straightening and crashing into the stumps. Brian Bennett took his time to get going, but later on in the innings played some really nice strokes. Wesley Madevere today was in all sorts. That's the first of 2 really well played sixes, and that's the second back-to-back. Yeah! And that's the demise of Wesley Madevere. Just threw that shot before the ball was there, and Brian Bennett would look good until then. Just gets the inside edge onto the stumps.
Yeah, 4 fours for Ryan Burrell when he came to the crease, who combined nicely with Clive Madande, who was there because of that dismissal of Tony Manyonga, playing across the line of a Craig Young delivery, and Burrell stood up, captaining Zimbabwe for the first time to top scorer with 36. But Madande impressed again. That was probably the pick of his strokes, alongside the one he got around the corner up towards the Centurion. Lots of good shots from Madande before he was bounced out by Young, who finished with 2 for 27 to complete an excellent series with the ball. And in the moment, we didn't know whether Delaney had caught that or not at first. No celebrations from Ireland, surprisingly, before McCarthy was slapped away for a boundary in his final over. Expensive, going at 9 runs per over today. And despite that one boundary in Adair's 20th, Jongwe and Mavuda couldn't get too much going. So Ireland will be pretty pleased, maybe with their noses just in front. But as we've seen from these 2 teams, nothing is going to come easy, and it could well go all the way right to the finish again. Don't rule out another final over conclusion, the 3rd consecutive in the series. It will be all on the line in about 10 minutes' time when we come back to you with all the action. Do join us then, when Ireland will need 141 to win the series.
He's just said Tino.
What's going on here?
Welcome back to Araya Sports Club. It's the third and final match in this T20 International Series between Zimbabwe and Ireland. It's the decider. Ireland winning the toss, electing to bat first, to bowl first, I beg your pardon. They'll need 141 in their allotted 20 overs. This is what's happened so far in this game. Zimbabwe in top order capitulated once again, but it was contributions from Burl and Madande, another half-century partnership between the two of them, 140 for 6. Bowlers were good for Ireland, took lots of pace off the ball. They've learned how to bowl on these wickets. 6 wickets were shared between Little, Delaney and Craig Young, who's been outstanding throughout the series. Right, they will need then to win this match and the series, Ireland, 141 runs in the allotted 20 overs. Ed Rainsford, very good afternoon to you.
I think we'll start from that end.
Hello, Tino. Hello, everybody that have joined us for this telecast. It's a warm day here in Harare and perfect for cricket. For the onlookers that have some shade, also pretty perfect from that perspective. And it's set up perfectly, one apiece for Zimbabwe and Ireland. And so this next 20 overs is really going to determine who will lift some silverware. Andy Balbirnie, 98 matches, a wealth of experience. Looked really good in that first T20 International under the lights. And then yesterday just struggled for a little bit of timing. And then Paul Stirling, new captain of Ireland, look at those numbers. Very good. And he really misses out on one too many occasions. But when he gets in, he can really punish you. Strike rate of 135, best of 115. Here's another player that's having a very good time with the ball. Richard Ngarawa. Very good year, 56 wickets, an economy of 7.
He has been having a very good time with the ball for very close to 24 months now for Zimbabwe in white ball cricket. Slip into Andy Balbirnie. Not so sure there is a need for that slip. We've seen a few boundaries go through that extra cover area, and as I say that, one of the fielders who was fortifying that offside, Wesley Madeira, has gone into a mid-wicket position. That's because Ngarawa is going to be operating from around the wicket. So it does just open up that onside field if he bowls straight. Haven't seen too much carry, not so sure there's a need for a slip. Ball 1, delayed by Ngarawa.
Was it his run-up, or maybe was it the non-striker? The corner of his eye. It maybe started to back up too much. And then had to correct himself there, Paul Stirling. Just the, ooh, interesting. Yes, fine, but good by Stirling because and there's another conversation that has been had. Our fielding needs to go through the roof. our commitment, our desire to save runs. Just got to get the radar right here, Richard Ngarawa. There's shape on offer for him, and he's getting the ball through. That last delivery went very quickly through to the keeper. Protracted conversation between the two now.
Oh, that is beautifully played. No need for any other fielders to move.
That'll give Sterling some confidence.
No! That's the length that he wants to be from around the wicket as well. You can see his reaction there, just a bit of frustration.
Yeah, I agree. It's just the fact that perhaps
He'll feel that to be given LBW from that far down is quite unlucky. Zimbabweans won't mind. They've seen the back of the captain. They've got an early wicket. It's 8 for 1. That far down, it's unlucky. Zimbabweans won't mind. They've seen the back.
Business end. Is that missing off stump? Because he does go right across the line.
ওয়ালটন ফ্রিজ কিনে পেতে পারেন 200% পর্যন্ত ক্যাশ ভাউচার।
ব্যাংক থেকে নগদে অ্যাড মানি করে প্রতি সপ্তাহে জিতুন মালদ্বীপে কাপল হলিডে প্যাকেজ।
अब देखना है हो पाता है या नहीं।
One over gone, and Ngarawa strikes early for Zimbabwe. Paul Sterling, the captain, back in the hut. Brings Lorcan Tucker to the crease. Strike rate of 122, best of 94 not out. 62 matches. A lot of experience behind the belt. Wellington Masakadza into the side for the first time in the series.
A little bit away from it. Yeah, middle side.
35 wickets. He's just finished a 4-day game, I think, or he's just been brought in for this T20 International. Sakadza with his left arm spin.
Outside the line of the off stump, way outside. Balbirnie looking to play the sweep shot because there's no fielders behind square on the boundary. Zarabani at 45, Brian Bennett behind square.
That's a close call, that LBW. Let's have a closer look at this, and it's more about where the contact happens. So there. Is that outside the line? Just there. I can see middle and leg. I think that's a fairly good shout from left arm spinner. And then we look at the wicket of Paul Sterling. Goes down the wicket, and he's saying, well, that's probably missing off stump because they've gone right across. So if he's aggrieved about that one, I think it sort of balances itself out now, because Balbirnie in that last, well, very first or second delivery looked very adjacent. He looked right in front of his stumps. This is making it an even more tastier and
second over, Ireland 13 for 1. Early breakthrough for Zimbabwe. It would have been what they would have discussed in the change room. Now, can they get another? Better length. Just wonder why, Ed, it is that he seems to get his lengths right from over the wicket as opposed to when he comes round, and just seems a lot fuller.
His default setting is to come over, so all his life he's been able to finish his action from ball number 1 to ball number whatever the end of his spell. So when he does come around and doesn't do it off So for me, it's just him just getting an understanding that, you know what, you need to hit the
Andy Balbirnie's just got inside the line and picked that up nicely.
the shorter boundary today. And it's a really good shot. Just the timing and just the jab.
And that should be called wide. And it is. Umpire Chris Peary. Richard and Garava in different phases. In this form. Look at that. Ed Rainsford, number 23. I think there's only been one other guy who's had that number on the back of his shirt, and
It's a great
white
number.
ball cricket for Zimbabwe.
Only the best number. Only for the best players.
How much did you ask for him to put on the back of his shirt?
He actually called me and asked me if he could take it. There you go. Beautiful throw in as well to end the over. 22 for 1. Visit Zimbabwe. I mean, why not? Look at that backdrop. It's a beautiful country. So much to see here in Zimbabwe, and visit the Victoria Falls. My fellow commentator has been there many times. Tino, what a beautiful country to visit.
Yeah, absolutely, Ed. Wanga National Park, just down the road from there. There's the Eastern Highlands to the east of the country. There's Matopos down in the south. Lake Kariba, biggest man-made lake in Africa. Really is so much to see. Whitewater raft. You can bungee jump, so many different places
have you
where you
bungee
can.
jumped?
No, I haven't. It rains.
Why?
Have you?
I have.
And?
Wanted to do the bungee jump, but you couldn't.
No, well, I don't know which birdie that was, but certainly after my gorge swing, which was probably a good 4 or 5 years ago. Won't be doing that again. Over the top. Number 23, Brandon Mavuta, does the fielding. Good throw. No, not so sure that's short enough for Andy Balbirnie.
It's a good delivery from Zarabani. Has he seen a bit of a twitch in Balbirnie and decided to dig in the short ball? He's tried to carry.
You want bit of time?
Two wickets down, the opening pair is gone again. Early for Ireland. Wellington Masakadza changes ends for a second over.
Have a look at the wicket again of Andy Balbirnie. He tries to come down the wicket to get to the pitch of it, but you just see that extra bit of bounce that messes with his timing. And outside of that replay, this is a very good shot by Taka. Pierces the gap, plays the sweep, picks up 4.
He loves playing that shot. Lokan Taka.
Bowled him. This time he's gone across the stumps too far. Left his house exposed. Wellington Masakadza crashes into the leg stump.
So successful with the first one, and then he tries it again. This time Masakadza says, well, you got me once, but this time I'll get you. Stump out the ground. He really enjoys this here. Wellington Masakadza affecting the game with ball in hand, coming into the side today. And he's picked up an important wicket. Tucker gone for 8, 29 for 3.
For 3. Curtis Kamfer slides out to the middle. It was his innings with his current partner which turned the game for Ireland yesterday. 702 runs. Strike rate of 130. Got 37 and 24 balls. Quick time, and he really just turned the momentum of the game when he walked out to the middle. Zimbabwe will be desperate to see the back of these two as soon as possible.
You say that, Tino, but I don't think both of them would have wanted to be in this early. So it's a total different approach to the innings. And this is why. Ooh, nearly. Nearly another opportunity. And so this whole total partnership here is under a great deal of pressure. And this is why Tucker just tries his yacht one too many times. And Masakadza says, nah, thank you very much.
Be a single to win the 5th. A good over from Wellington Masakadza. Wicket in there. Ireland 31 for 3.
Well, there's always a twist, there's always a turn in every chapter, every narrative between these two great rivals. Maybe at the halfway stage you're watching back on home in Dublin and Derry and Belfast and Galway and Cork. You're thinking Ireland are standing on the brink of a very rare away series victory. They only had 2 prior to this series. There is always a twist, there really is. Blessing Muzarabani comes back into the attack to Tector now. Quick single's going to be dashed and very well judged. Darlington, Mataparanzo joining me. Darlington, lovely to see you firstly. We got another final over thriller on our hands yet again.
Certainly looks as if it's shaping to be something that ends right, keeps us on the edge of our seats throughout. Zarabani, just 4 runs from his off-his bowling so far, and the wicket.
And it's Ireland's man for every season. Curtis Kamfer, just the man they'll want for a crisis alongside Harry Tector. For Zimbabwe, you see Ryan Burrell captaining them for the first time. Can you think of of a time that they haven't had Sean Williams, they haven't had Craig Irvine, they haven't had Sikander Raza. It's been over 5 years since none of those three have played.
Just exactly right. I think it's very difficult to imagine. And this is just an example of a game played here. That's 5 years ago.
That game there was the last time that none of those three featured in a starting 11 for Zimbabwe. The likes of Solomon Mire were in the team. PJ Moore was in that team for Zimbabwe. And now he's changed allegiances to Ireland, not in the travelling squad. But you miss the calibre of the likes of Williams on the right of your screen there. Raza right in the middle next to Kirby, the bowling coach. And I've no doubt, obviously, Raza will be back for the ODIs. For Williams, we'll have to wait and see, Darlington, won't we? That looks like a very nasty injury to his side. And also for Craig Irvine, too. No real sign yet as to when he'll be back. But it gives a real chance to others, doesn't it?
It was really exciting to see Brian Bennett, for example, get a few runs earlier on today. Would have liked to carry on, probably, but just started to show some hints of the talent that we've all seen. Been one of the players that we've been really looking forward to, and it was just good to see him get going today.
It almost kind of forced the hand, didn't it, of David Houghton and his coaching staff to say, okay, we want to blood youngsters, we're going to have to now. We're missing our three most experienced, maybe our three highest quality players. Muzarabani and Ngarava, again, a big impact in the power play for Zimbabwe. And they've picked up 2 of the 3 wickets to fall. It's 35 for 3. So Zimbabwe were in a much better position at this stage, weren't they? 40 for 1 after the power play. I think we're going to see quite a lot of spin throughout this phase of the game. And as the umpire will signal the power play, Chris Peary. Plenty of options as always in terms of spin, and we're going to see Brandon Mavuta, 23 on his back, no doubt a tribute to the late great Shane Keith Warren.
Picked up a test fifer earlier in this year, and then he's been outstanding for the Midwest Rhinos. Been outstanding for the Midwest Rhinos with both bat and ball.
And the thing I like about his leg spin, he's very different to Ryan Burrell. So Burrell probably turns it a good bit more. Mavuta, I would think, would be a little bit more accurate. And the great thing for Mavuta is he's going to have a sympathetic captain who understands wrist spin, who understands leg spin in the shape of Ryan Burrell. He's got an interesting field set too. I think Burrell is encouraging him to bowl full. He doesn't want him to be short with that short leg side boundary. Didn't see Zimbabwe target that a huge amount, did we? Big disparity today, probably 65, 67 metres to the leg side. Over to the off, well, 75 to the corners, maybe 78, 80. And he starts nicely, Mavuta. Camphor won't mind the pressure. For some of our curation team, our thanks to them as always. Amazing job they're doing. That one's just forced out of the front of the hand, keeping low. Clever bowling, good use of the conditions from Mavuta.
One of the things he's able to do, just gives him a little bit more, make it a little more difficult for Camphor. And that time it's the googly, and Camphor wants to get away from strike.
What he's doing so cleverly here is he's bowling a very nice pace for this wicket. Don't think that's short enough to cut. Camphor's favourite shot is the cut. Likes the slog sweep too. There's protection out of deep mid-wicket for that. Leading edge, gone! Zimbabwe alive, and Mavuta strikes. And it's his fellow wrist spinner, his captain Ryan Burl, who takes the catch. There's life in this game, in this series yet, Darlington.
And I'm just love his reaction. He's absolutely pumped. He knows how important the wicket of Camphor is in this situation. Curtis Camphor was outstanding in the second T20. And this is a good delivery. Hold him a couple that shaped into him. And this one is turned away sharply, presenting a simple catch for Ryan Burl. Ireland lose their fourth wicket. It's Curtis Camphor for 5. 37 for 4.
Game on in a big way. Only way to refer to this series thus far has been one that is seesawed from one to t'other. Said it a couple of times now, two imperfect sides still finding their way. And George Dockrell is into the crease much earlier than he would have liked. 37 for 4. Ireland in all sorts of trouble as Luke Jongwe is given the ball for his first over. They'll have to rely upon Harry Tector and Dockrell to get them out of this hole. This is an outstanding piece of bowling, a classic leg spinner's dismissal, getting the leading edge to cover.
It was interesting that Curtis Camphor this morning in an interview said it's going to be a trial by spin at Harare Sports Club. And a beautiful bit of bowling from Brandon Mavuta takes his wicket.
I know it's easy to say now, but where's he been all series? We thought he'd come in from game one. An immediate impact from the all-rounder, both with bat, with a little contribution at the end, and ball. This is the tail of the power play. 3 wickets fell in it. Both of Ireland's openers dismissed after Paul Sterling's beautiful cover drive. Was he a little unlucky with the LBW?
It's just been outside the line of leg stump. And a couple of really good shots targeting that leg side boundary, and then this was just threw it away.
Let me ask you about that Andy Balbirnie dismissal. Muzzer Rabbani 6'8", releasing from over 8 foot. Do you want to give him the charge?
Always, but if it comes off, you look great. But no, probably not, because you've got to really get to the pitch of the ball.
Now, is that going to be a wide? No. We've seen Zimbabwe learn, haven't we, from Ireland's bowlers. They're going to the short ball a lot. Dockrell's very tall, he's 6'4". Is this over his head? Maybe not quite. Good decision.
Another thing I think the Zimbabweans have picked up from the island seamers was just the changes of pace. We've seen that bouncer followed up with a slower off spinner. Mark Adair, who's been quite good throughout the series with the ball as the next man in. Gareth Delaney, McCarthy, and then Young and Little.
Here's one of those changes of pace that Jongwe finishes out his first over with delight for him. Only 4 singles from it. It's 41 for 4. Mavuta into the team for the first time into the series and an immediate impact with 4 wicket takers already, including Wellington Masakadze, who wasn't even in the 15. Zimbabwe have had to dig deep into their reserve tank. If they pull this one out of the fire to win the series, well, it's going to be an almighty effort missing Raza, Williams and Irvine. A reminder, those 12th men and women in the crowd, they've got their role to play too, don't they, with Sunday Song.
This is Zimbabwe's 12th man, rightly as Andrew said. Down towards that area in front of Cow Corner. This is the mound here at our Sports Club. Hasn't filled up yet.
See those umbrellas there, Darlington? He's just great to watch. Everything he does, bat, ball and in the field, nearly a beautiful stop.
That's the googly little inside edge onto the pad. This probably saves Harry Tector.
This is the wonder of leg spin, right? Natural variation. Shane Warne used to say he had 9 or 10 different deliveries. Those last 2 balls were both leg breaks, I promise you that, from bowling them myself. One of them is skidded on and almost angled in, the other one's turned a little bit. Natural variation is one of your greatest assets as a wrist spinner. And then the skill of the mind in manipulating the batter's mind. Placed nicely by Dockrell, will get 4, and how Ireland needed that boundary. Mavuta just couldn't get out of his second over. 9 bowled, 49 for 4. .92 to win from 66 deliveries. Just out of the reach of Jongwe. Could he have held on to this?
His reaction suggests
I know it's over extra cover, but he just naturally wants to hit everything straight down the ground. So his arc is deep extra to mid-wicket, and he gets it all the way for 6.
it's that short boundary Andrew was talking about earlier, and used to good effect.
The boundary in the previous over was the first in 28 balls. Now they've got 2 and 3 deliveries, and it forces the field change. So short third will have to come up, and long off will go back. Pressure now on Jongwe. You see Dockrell's natural setup, everything he wants to hit. Just imagine an arc all the way from that wide extra cover to wide long on. That's where he wants to go, whether it's full or short. But it's so effective because of that extra muscle, the strength, the conditioning he's put on. He's batting a huge asset for Ireland over the last 2 to 3 years.
Just that stability that Harry Tector has provided. 8 from 13 just allows him to play probably a little more freely. Just keeps knocking it around the park, setting himself up to bat deep.
You're a big Harry Tector fan, aren't you? What is it you like about him so much?
It's an unflappableness about his demeanour when he's playing. And I've seen him do very, very well in 50 overs cricket. And I think he's got very good batting technique. And I think that what he's got is transferable to T20 cricket. Big, strong lad, clear boundaries. Once he works out his intent perhaps a little bit more defensive early. I think once he's figured out his intent and has figured out shots that he can go with early in his innings, I think that can be a very, very special play.
Also a really humble guy. He's joking with me out in the middle. He saw that we'd moved 3 pitches across and we had a short side. He said, oh, maybe even I'll hit a 6 today. And I said, come on, Harry. He's a great kid. Going to be a rock of the Irish middle order for many years to come, as this should be at least a couple. They may even think of a third because of the fumble. But Bennett will keep it to 2. It's the halfway stage of the chase. The game is keeping us on the edge of our seats. It's 60 for 4.
It's the third T20 International here at our sports club, Zimbabwe versus Ireland. It's the series decider. Zimbabwe having lost the toss today and asked to bat first, posting 140. And hence, the chase is on for Ireland. 60 for 4 in their chase of 141 to win the series. Ryan Bell, the captain for Zimbabwe today. And I must say, he's led his young troops quite well. Lots of expectation. People are having a watch. 3 senior players not involved in this game today. Sean Williams, Craig Irvin, Sikandar Raza. So success with the spinners. The addition of Wellington Masakadza, valuable addition. Plenty of experience. Brandon Mavuta getting an opportunity today. Full. Could have done better there, Ryan Bell. Good afternoon, Tino.
Afternoon, Stanley. Afternoon to everybody who's tuned in from wherever you are around the globe. 80 from 58. 8.28 to the over.
Josh Dockrell wanted to get things going. Massive swing and a miss. Looking to take down Ryan Bell, looking to take him downtown, looking for that maximum. 57 off 80. And a spot of bother, especially with that wickets column is concerned. Right, Bennett. Just the fumble. Not much damage.
Yeah, a bit of an uneven bounce, and it's almost done, young Brian Bennett. In the circle, he's done well in the end, just to get a hand on it and make sure it doesn't get through the circle. Tector looking to give himself some room, just moving about at the crease, trying to distract the bowler, Ryan Bell. It's been a good over so far, so crucial that he finishes off well here.
Up and over the inside ring on the offside. Wesley Madavide does the clearing. It's a good over. Either way, just the 5 runs off it. It's the end of the 11th, 65 for 4. at this stage. Zimbabwe 6-9 for 4, Ireland 6-5 for 4. So pretty much even Stevens. What's required is a partnership. Zimbabwe bowling scorecard returns pretty much for the majority of the bowlers used in this effort so far, bar Jongwe and Burl. One apiece for everybody else. Brendan Mafuta has been changed in. If you're looking for some success up from the city end. Not a bad ploy. Something similar required of these two, Tector and Dogrel. Also in the making, 3 captains in 3 matches for Zimbabwe. And the team changing him after the game.
Mavuta, and it goes for 4. It is just the finish that Ireland
They need to break this partnership, do Zimbabwe. Have to find a way. And hence, the captain, Ryan.
was wrong from Ryan Burl.
He will be livid, Ryan Burl, with himself. Just tossed that one up into the arc once again, and a full swing of the bat, full swing of the willow by George Dogrel, and a much-needed maximum. It's another good over for Ireland. They need to build on this. just the 7 boundaries so far in this effort. Like that. That's much better. That is what's required of
Kick starts their run chase again.
This is good batting from George Dockrell. Once again, just
Yeah, they're thinking of coming back for 2, and they will. They'll get back comfortably. So this is good maneuvering of the ball around the park.
sure at some point we might see the physio being asked to come onto this wicket. Hope it's nothing serious because he's certainly required to do job here.